Kia ora, talo falava, malo lelei, Pacific greetings to our audience. Folau, or the Voyage program, aims to communicate relevant information to generate interest and raise awareness within the Pacific communities, encourage passion for education, business ventures, understanding social and economic issues impacting our communities. Most of all, the importance of collective relationships within New Zealand to achieve economic prosperity. This show was made possible by Foundation North, Vuxit and Porridge Civil Engineering, the Voyage Media Limited and Face TV. O leo tū leo le nei polokalame ina ia whaailoa, whaamamalama, malongo pui lii, waenga tāua o le nonofo ai le nei atunu. Ia whaimata iala e te tala ai le tātou wa ai leo te lenga, ai leo le whapuma mo. A malamalama lo utou mamalu e le uma le whetu leni mai o manatu, ma mawhauwhaunga le lei e mawhaiai o na tātou whaatinoina, tu langatāl whenga le lei mō le tama ainga o tātou tangata nuu sa moa Tonga mal Pasifika I Aotearoa nei. We have in the studio our guest, Pakilau Manasseh, Lua and Neil Sonalole. Manasseh was born in the Kingdom of Tonga. He has lived in Aotearoa, New Zealand now for over 40 years. He is married with 4 children. He is the National Manager, Kanarau Diversity and Inclusion Program for Te Pou o Te Whakaaronui, a mainstream NGO in the mental health, addictions and disability sector and a member of the executive leadership team. Manasseh is also the principal advisor at Pacific, Te Pou, and has oversight of the disability workforce development portfolio. Tolefo Neil Sonalole was born in Dunedin but moved to Samoa at a young age of 17 months old when his father graduated from Otago University. Tolefo moved to Auckland in January 2005, having worked in Samoa at the Ministry of Justice, AusAid and the Ministry of Education, Sports and Culture. In New Zealand, he worked at ACC as a community entry prevention consultant for 13 years. He is currently studying at the University of Auckland for his Masters in Public Policy. Well, welcome to our program, Manasseh. Welcome to our program, and it's good to have you in the studio to share about Tonga and your role in the community.
Mua whatalo whātu le mamalu ma le pai o Samoa, kore peke u huwhanga he ngai talamalu e whanua, ka tāma ki mutuana ke whakahoko e whatongia o ahon, mahalo pito.
Mahalo to le fo, lau, whionga nei tula.
Ia, e whatalo whātu le fo I tula I lau sunga whata tai o tātou porkalame. Special greetings and mahalo lei to Matapu Le, Pakilau. Great to have you here in our program, and also special greetings to our viewership and listenership at this program. Thank you.
Our program today is focusing on the small Pacific Kingdom of Tonga. Manasseh, let's talk about the Kingdom of Tonga. It's a very unique small island in the South Pacific, the only monarchy in the South Pacific. How's the kingdom planned out in terms of the royals, the nobles, and the commoners?
Thank you, Fata. You're correct. The Kingdom of Tonga is a small little kingdom in the South Pacific. It's a constitutional monarchy established by King Seastupo I after he unified Tonga through a civil war that raged in Tonga from about 1799 to about 1852, where the people of my clan, the Ha'avea, were defeated in 1852 in the village of Pea. And so the king then was able to unify all of the chiefdoms in Tonga at the time and set up a constitutional monarchy based on the British system. He had a lot of help from the missionaries, but what he did do was to fuse the traditional hierarchy of the Ho'eiki, particularly the king and his family at the top of the pyramid, then the Ho'eiki or the nobles in the middle, Matapule, and then the people forming the base of the pyramid. So that structure is very much still in Tonga today. Yeah.
Le tāua ia tole fō peon saunoa e Manasseh. Ia, e hile se senga ma tātou. Ia wā tātou o le peona Silfia is temin saunoa fō leo o Manasseh. Il tūlanga fō leo le tātou o le head of state ia po le tau e pela o ia o ainga e whā lea sa masania ia ono leo suile le whaavai o le atunu. Ia uso o stasi lava e mawhai ona avea mawhilifilia ia tō whinga tā ua au tātou tunu i Samoa. E se le tā ua o Tonga ma la tō fōi asil sila le ia i le tātianga o le ainga tupu, ia o sui o le ainga tupu i tono nu mala alfanga. Ia mes fōi la tangata lau tele.
Tā ua ia o le set up le wale system le. Ia wā o le ia pe tā ua la ainga tupu o le isili. Ia le whasolo moela ia i le mamanu lau tele o mtapu le mo. E pei fōi lao e le system le ia i Samoa o le parliamentary democracy. Ia le ia whainga nei whatemkarasi nei le wa ia i le taimini nei. Ia le na ia whaavai ia le fōi ia o lo solo whaatasi ma le pule mamanu a li im fai pule. Peo tūlanga fōi le sau noa ia pakilau. O se fiang fōi le ia o i fōi le whainga māloa Tonga. Paule o le atunu e le i invade pe le i whape fōi le la iei. Nau sofa ia pe nei le pulenga whaakolone. I le iei se tūla i mai lava Tonga ia whau la tau mālo ma le tua inga system e la tau.
Let's talk about the makeup of the royal family. What's the format?
So we have what we call the hau in Tonga, who is the ruler. So the person who holds all the main titles, which is the king, and the royal title that he holds is the Tuikana which is a Samoan of Samoan origin. Back in, say, the late 1500s, when Amalele's daughter married the Tuihatakalau at the time, Maunga Tonga, and they had a son called Ngata. And Ngata moved to the western province of Tonga and established his kingdom there. Itumalo, in the Samoan in the
constituency,
district. So he established Itumalo in the Hifo district based on the Whaamatai system. And a good friend of mine and a relative, Siausi Ilaiu, has studied this significant movement of the Matai system in Tonga in some detail. He's doing his PhD at the moment, but his thesis for the masters is available online if people want to know about the establishment of the Tuikana system in Tonga. It's a valuable resource there. But that's how the system now, the Tuikana currently rules Tonga. So the Tui Tonga, which was there prior, is no longer actually a title that's installed in Tonga. So the holder of what used to be the Tui Tonga is Kalaniuvalu. So the current Kalaniuvalu title holder is the son of Princess Melesiulikutapo. So her son prior had passed away, but her second son holds the Kalaniuvalu title and the Fotofili title. So they're big titles in Tonga, with connections to Samoa. As you know, most of the Tui Tonga married Samoans. So you could argue that Tui Tonga in Tonga were half Samoan. They were more Samoan actually than Tongan. And you can see it in the language we use for our kings. It's still used, taumafa, you know. All of those honorific terms have very Samoan roots. And so there's a strong connection between our two countries. So you've got the king there, his royal household, you've got the nobles, you've got Matuapuaka and Lawaki, his two officiating matapule, wherever he goes. So that's how it's structured, and then there are other, levels there.
Se le whalangolongo atu, ele whaasoa mai pe langona o tatino fo ele ma se whaafonga le atu no mal mai bonga fo ele talanoa mai a manase fo ele sotanga ia ma o tātou tangata ma le tūlanga fo ele ngangana ia mes fo ele whaangaso longa mai lava i e tai o nei motu la haiti o le Pasifika mai aso na mua.
Io, e pe o le tūlanga na, e mantua fo i mantua awhata e fo ele le whaitau fo ele le tātou a Folau ia pālangi e whaonga tapsa. A Folau Samoa e whaonga whaia. Pila o leo te mwhaina mo moli mai fo ili tūranga le nā i le oa leo sau no mai ia pakilau i nei whitai au. Ese le mānai. O le vai atu le te leo le sotanga fo ile.
Le sosia le ia pakilau fo ile ia mana se tūlanga fo ile wai e taua tātou whai amatonga. Pau awa ane le whaafonga le atu nuuma. Taua whapea o tātou ma Tonga na vātau Tonga ma Samoa, a whongala ia I le whaia, ma le amatanga minga ese le mātango whia. Manasseh started his career at the Ministry of Pacific Island Affairs in 1996, where he worked for 5 years. He then left the public service to work for a couple of years as a consultant for 4BM Group, and then for a small Pacific disability provider in South Auckland. He returned to the public service to work at the Disability Services Directorate of the Ministry of Health in 2003, before joining LEVA in March 2008. After 5 amazing and fulfilling years at LEVA, Manasseh decided to take up a senior management and leadership role at Tupou in 2013. So let's talk about the government. Would you elaborate on, because it wasn't that far away when the public were part of the election, which the Tongan, the Tonga managed to do elections and have a prime minister like any democracy. Let's talk about that. What's the makeup of?
Sure. So Tonga runs with a unitary parliament, so there's not not really an opposition as such. So with the current government led by our Prime Minister Akilisi Pohiva, has had a very strong history in the pro-democracy movement in Tonga for probably 2 to 3 decades now. And so
because he came from a journalistic background.
Correct, and a teacher as well. That's right. So through the movement of pro-democracy, there have been some reforms in Tonga over the decades. And in Tonga, change is slow. And there have been many movements towards a more democratic system in Tonga. And I think that we're well on our pathway to seeing that. Although most of the Tongan people overseas also have a view of that. There are probably more Tongans overseas now than in Tonga. So there's a huge diaspora of Tongans living in New Zealand, mainly America and Australia. And a lot of them have a strong view of what they would like to see in Tonga, but obviously the voting system, you have to live in Tonga. Okay. So like I think Samoa the same in Samoa. So there is that that push-pull from overseas Tongans who have a view, but we have to respect the sovereignty of Tonga. Tonga is a sovereign state, and also the fact that the king is still there. The king still has his executive power, with guidance from his advisors and also the Prime Minister and the government of the day. So that's how the system works in Tonga.
So there's no opposition. It's the democracy, which there's the monarchy.
Correct.
And
then the people and the representatives voted by the people into Parliament. There are specific seats for nobles that are set aside, only the nobles can get. There used to be a majority of nobles in the House. Now it's been reduced right down. I think the number is maybe 11. Don't quote me on that. But the numbers have been significantly reduced. The House used to be predominantly nobles. Now it's mainly people, commoners picked by the community. So it's much more democratic.
Manasseh Bakilau, esel tau fone la tfalangolong watu ona fela taia o le toto ia mafaya pe ona sa no falangolong watu la ia ina ua ile tu la mai fo ia tangata la tele ia mal tulang fo wa mana ia fo ile ai nga tupum tulang fa pe ele la ia ile no fo le lei male ile nei vaita
I pil tu langa le na fo le what I can see happening now is as the democratic process progresses, so as the electoral reforms and also the representation of the people inside the sitting of Parliament.
Yeah, I suppose it was bound to happen for a very long time. We'll live on. It's something that being Tongan, can be very proud of.
Yes.
With this small democracy, and on the other hand, they keep on the monarchy.
That's right. Yeah.
Tātou toe talanoa pia whaurutang noanga ma tātou malo nei e pia mai ele malo popo. Welcome back to Fatalafatu. This program is made possible by Foundation North, Bookseed and Porridge Limited. Manasseh is an alumnus of the Mana Moana Leadership New Zealand program, where he is now a co-facilitator. He is one of the founding members of the New Zealand Tonga Business Council and is very active in the Tongan and wider Pacific community. He is a governance member of Pacific Leadership Forum, secretary of Aki Heuo Aotearoa, Tonga Health Workers Association and Tonga Aotearoa Amateur Sports Association, who umbrella 13 different Tongan sporting codes in New Zealand, including Siutaka Rugby and Rugby League. He volunteers his time on several other Pacific NGOs and community groups. What's the population? What's the population like in Tonga and also in here and maybe in Australia and America?
Sure. Thank you, Fata. The population in Tonga is 100,000 approximately, according to the World Bank, but it's also slowly diminishing because of the migration out of the islands. Most of the population, about 70%, live on the main island of Tongatapu. And then the rest are scattered in Ha'apai and Rava'u in the north and a little bit in Niua and Ewa. So a lot of our people have chosen to migrate out to New Zealand in particular. Probably the biggest population, about 65,000, live in New Zealand, the majority in Auckland. And then the second biggest population in the US. And they're quickly going to outnumber the New Zealand population because Utah, for instance, has a huge Tongan Mormon population. LA, South Central LA, areas of Riverside, lots of Tongans living there, Arizona, but also in Australia. We've got some Tongans living in Australia. So they're all over the world, much like our Samoan community. Plenty of Tongan Samoans that go over for sports. You know, rugby has taken them all over the world, and also in the arts and business as well.
There's a huge group of Tongans who live in American Samoa.
Yes.
There's quite I suppose that's where most of other Tongans make way to the mainland.
That's right.
Through American Samoa and Hawaii.
Yeah. It's like a jumping spot from there to America, through the cannery. A lot of them go and work in the canneries in American Samoa and Pango. In fact, I've had an uncle who's worked there for 20 years, fluent in Samoan. He's come back to our village in Waini now. But many Tongans have migrated to Samoa and used American Samoa as a stepping stone to Hawaii and then to America. Yeah.
You are involved quite a lot with the Tongan community and our Pacific communities here in New Zealand, especially with the disability side of things.
Yes.
What's the role there?
So in my current role, we sponsor a lot of the training programs that the workers that help disabled people train up. So as the manager for the disability program at Te Pou, I fund scholarships and grants for people who want to, like support workers, who want to train in NZQA level 3 or 4 in those qualifications. They apply to us and we fund them. So since 2010, we've funded about close to 50,000 people going through our programs since we started in 2010. But we're very proud of the work we do. Currently, we're looking at how do we bring more diversity in the workforce. Residential providers out there are struggling to find workers. And a lot of our people don't understand that because of pay equity, the rates for a support worker now has gotten right up to about $19 an hour. Very good for a starting rate. And our people who are working out in the RSE scheme and picking apples and all that, why do that in the cold when you can work in the warmth of a residential facility, care for disabled people, go to a movie, watch rugby for free? These are some of the things that our people don't know are out there, but we are desperate for workers.
Ta hua ia o vaenga ia o ta hua vaenga ia o sa no ia manase telefo e la langa mai fo ia I tātou ia mai se lava ia na i tātou tangata pa ia o tātou tunu tātou Pasifika o le tūlanga le nai tangata mai le disability ia wai pe o vaenga ia tele ai na wha ngalo ma wha tuatua nai ai wha ngalo atu la i le wha soa mai manase e se le tāua o i lātou le lātou te whaia ngā luenga o le vaia ia ma kea fo ngale mo nai tātou tangata i
e whaftai o i lātou ne le i mana unga whapitoa mana o mianga ma ta ua mau te lofo elo i le whamua fo i le malo ai o le maua mai tele nei awa noa ia wa tuina mai. There's a lot of it's on the priority list of activities which sort of geared towards our Pacific people to come and take advantage of. Thank you.
Your involvement with the Tongan Business Council. Can you elaborate?
Sure. So the New Zealand Tongan Business Council, we were recently in Tonga last year for a forum that they held there, and Rachel Afiaki was the founding chairperson, and I was one of the founding members that put it together probably about 10, 12 years ago now, can't remember. It's an organisation that tries to support the Tongan businesses that are in Tonga, work together with the businesses from New Zealand. We've got Heilala Vanilla, we've got Tupuanga Coffee, and many other Tongan businesses that are working together with the Tongan government to improve relations. There is an issue about the imbalance of trade. A lot of goods from the islands are blocked from coming here, but New Zealand sends all the lamb flaps and all the corned beef over there and make a lot of money. But there's no equity there. How about selling our mangoes and bananas? Don't worry about the flies. We'll work that out in the islands and sort that out. But there's got to be a better way of sharing the resources between the two countries.
Tili o vaenga ia sa momalau tāpo inga, le whaonga ina o le tili o tātou o loa, ia mau tātou me tuto i sa moa matonga man Pasifika. Mwhena, sa ili uala e mai e nei mwhena whaonga ina. Ia, mesi lava le tamau ainga mo tātou tangata, e le ngata i nei, ia o tātou tunu o lo whamuni mai. Manasseh has a strong social conscience, especially in terms of social inequalities and the rights of Māori as tangata whenua under the Treaty of Waitangi in New Zealand. Manasseh has also a Samoan pea, a tatau, langi malofia, full-body tatau, to honour his Samoan connections via Fauolo in Ha'awhewa and Safotulawhai on his father's side, and to Amalele in Safata on his mother's side, and was officially installed Kava Whakanofo in April 2017 with the Matapule title, Pakilau o Aotearoa, by Lord Ma'afu Tui Au Lahi, head of the Ha'awea and Heritage Noble of Waini and Toko Mololo. You have a Samoan connection.
Yes. I am very proud of my Samoan ancestry, albeit it is a few generations back, but on my father's side, Fauolo migrated to a little island in Ha'apai called Ha'awhewa in the late 1700s and married a woman there called Ate. And their children is where my father's mother's side come from. So to the Fauolo clan in Safotulawhai, if you're out there, I'd love to reach out and connect with you. You are my ainga, Oka Fauolo. I hear they are great academics and church people, and hopefully I can walk in the same footsteps as my ancestors there.
You also have a pea, a tatau.
Yes.
What brings you?
Oh, I'm still recovering from the pain, Fata. It's been 2 years now, but you can never really explain the excruciating pain you go through. But in saying that, the pride that flows after it's completed. And I was very fortunate to have the blessings of Senior Matai, who I consulted first. I didn't rush into it. I sought the blessings of very Senior Matai. They gave me the blessing. I explained my ngafa, my connection to Samoa, and they said, okay, yeah, you can have the measina on your body. And they did the full Samoan traditional ceremony from start to finish at my home.
It's not often you come across a Tongan or Fijian who put on a tatau or a tattoo, a pea, especially with our traditional pea. It's not just like the hand or the shoulder or the leg. It's a full body.
I'm very happy to have met Matapule today. I think it's an honor for our program to have him on board, and I can see how proud he carries a lot of pride in his Samoan
and his Tongan.
And his Tongan. I'm not too sure when Matema'a plays whether he wears the blue or the red.
Okay. Okay, let's talk about what's your take on Israel Folau, sir. We won't like to finish this program, before we talk about that.
Fata, that's a very, very contentious issue at the moment. It's polarized our community. Israel has a strong following in the church community, both here and abroad. He also has some very strong supporters in his fellow colleagues in the sporting fraternity. As a Tongan, I feel sorry for him a bit in terms of the negative press he's got, but you know, he asked for it. You know, end of the day, he wanted to make a stand for his Christian faith. Good on him, but he's got to know that there is a consequence to that. You know, he has a right to express his view and the ideologies he believes in. I personally don't believe what he believes in terms of my own view that diversity and inclusion is something that society should embrace. And in the sports field, it should be diverse and inclusive as well. And it's sad that it's gotten to a level where it's impacting on both him and his wife's career. So there's some lessons there for everybody. I don't think Australian Rugby Union handled it very well either. I think they're at fault.
Right from the beginning.
Right from the beginning. You don't fire someone in the media. You should have gone through the right steps. But at the same time, Israel needs to take stock of his own personal decisions as well. But it's a very sad state of affairs.
Sure take.
I think looking back a couple of months ago when the post came up, I see there's been a clash between two schools of thought. And I think the first one is Israel Folau as a Pacific Islander and also as which belongs to a minority group. And also those that he posted, that he had the post to, were sort of can I say, the elite minority, minority elite, so to speak. So I think there are two things here, and it sort of cuts across the fine line of what is free speech, freedom of expression, and also
freedom of religion.
But I think he made this stance knowing that there would be consequences. He would, but the only thing is now that we see that the GoFundMe website pulled down all the donations and returned all the donations, and he came up, or his supporters came up.
It's a Christian people that who put up the other one, which is
Christian
much more,
lobby,
more stronger now than the
$1,000 a minute.
the GoFundMe. So it's a very interesting issue. But I agree with you. Australian Rugby Union didn't handle the issue very well right from the start.
I think for me, you know, it's the forget about how the Australian Rugby Union handled it and forget about other things. For me, I stand by Folau in terms of he's just, you know, presenting his Christian beliefs, his faith. I think that's what he did. He wasn't in a position to specific to one group of people. It's just putting it out there and for everyone to see and read. I mean, in terms of ole tulanga fo ile ole lona langona fa ila na ia fa tuanga le na laina no fo ma fa ilo atu ai peta yani o isi vai ngai ia ila nga luenga which is ole la kapim tulanga fa pena le wa laina fa ina al tulanga ia o upula volo le fiong pa ia le tua le na mai ia fa fu if I lower to anyway, let's finish our program with the Ikaletahi and Mate Tonga are doing really well. The support from the community, the Tongan community all over the world, it's massive. What brings the Tongan people together to rally the sports, the rugby league and rugby union teams?
I think Lau Fiong Toliafoa sort of mentioned it early on in the program with his comment around Tonga having that very unique perspective as a monarchy and never being colonized formally. The Mate Tonga spirit is very much around the pride Tongans have of being free. That's simple, just being free. And so Mate Tonga, die for Tonga is actually it's die, but it also means to live for Tonga. You know, if it's everything for Tonga, and so that concept of giving your all was especially shown when the players gave the money away and played for Tonga and not for the money, and they themselves epitomised that whole spirit of Mate Tonga.
Same with Ikaletahi.
Same with Ikaletahi. The only problem is, as the usual, the administration and all that stuff in the background often needs to have a bit of work, you know, it's just being honest. but at the same time, the people support the team regardless of what's happening, all the noise. And that's the powerful thing about our rugby. It unites our people.
Okay, for 10 seconds, would you like to say something in your mother language for our Tongans who are watching?
Kore ke hufanga tu pehe ngahi tala whakatapu ose na awhaki. Whamalo atu peke o ngō toko ua koe ni ka tori a fōa, pe whuki a whata. Malo e ofa ki Tonga, malo e ofa atu Samoa, whaftai te le lawa ofa atu.
Whaftai mo le awanoa, tata noanga matango fia nei tai au, e tata nunga tātou to e whewai fōi. Pea ngangalu, i le mai aso mō, whaftai laku.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time when we are.